If you played back in the Gecko Moria days, you know how strong Black Yellow Luffy used to be, but will it hold up now with the new 5-cost Ace, which is basically a Gecko Moria, but really powered down? I'm here to test it for this short 1-month meta that we have for PRB02. I think this deck is actually competitively viable. I think someone just really needs to cook up a good list. So that's what we're going to try to do today as we take it onto the sim. I'm not going to say I'm the best player because this deck is very difficult to pilot. You have to be a highly skilled player, and we're still learning it. We're maybe 10-15 matches in, and I'm giving you guys 3 total matches today with Black Yellow Luffy. So if you enjoy it, like, subscribe. I hope I can teach you a lot in the One Piece card game and how to play this deck. This deck is really interesting, a lot of fun. It's difficult, but when you can start taking down a more complex deck, you become a lot better of a player and a pilot for other decks. So I hope it helps you out. Let's get straight into that deck profile. To start, we need to start with the leader effect. Of course, that's going to be the most important part because that is what we're building our deck around. We're going to start with the bottom part, the ×2 Dawn effect. That means you have to attach 2 Dawn, activate main once per turn, discard 1 card from your hand. If your life is at 0, you may add 2 cost 5 characters from your hand or trash to your life face up. So with this ability, we also have a secondary ability that would basically help kind of keep this leader fair, to be honest, because if not, you just continue to get, life and you just never die. So they made, per the rules, your face-up life cards will be sent to the bottom of your deck instead of to your hand. They did this because obviously you could play other 5-cost characters. Like I could put a 5-cost Shirahoshi to my life and then trigger it over and over. But because of the per the rules effect, the cards that trigger do not go to your hand. Just remember that is very important because I've seen a lot of people who are new to Black Yellow Luffy misplay, and that is actually cheating. So if you bring that to a local tournament and do that incorrectly, you would technically be cheating and people might really get upset. So just make sure you know what this leader does and how to use it. And that's what we're going to be teaching you today in the video. We've cooked up this deck profile. We used the deck profile we've actually covered before and just added a tech card. So we're going to go through this and teach you basically the simple parts of the deck, and then you'll see it in action, and that's where you really get to take something away. The idea is basically to put 5-cost Sabo, 5-cost Luffy, or 5-cost Ace into your life. Now, the reason we do this is because they're cheated out from our life through characters, these small babies. It's similar to like Reiju, where she uses the small characters to play out big characters from the trash. We do that, but through our life. These small babies have the ability to play out the designated name. So Luffy cheats out Luffy, Ace cheats out Ace, and Sabo cheats out Sabo from the top of our life. And then it has the secondary ability that it plays it and then gives your leader plus 2,000 until the end of your opponent's turn. So if we gain 2 life from our leader effect, right, we gain a Sabo and an Ace. We use Ace to cheat out the Ace. Now our leader is a 7,000 power leader. Then we use the Sabo to cheat out the Sabo, and now our leader will be 9,000 until the end of our opponent's turn. So when our opponent attacks us with a 5k attack, we're a 9k leader, nothing happens. We don't have to worry about it or counter. Our opponent has to do really big swings, and this is where the deck gets really complex, is knowing what babies you actually find, playing around what babies you actually have, and now we have a basically high value card in Ace that will cheat out the babies and help us continue to use them over and over again without having to always find them. So Ace is probably the most important baby at the moment. Back in the day, it was actually the least used. A lot of people weren't even running Ace for a while, but now it is actually the most important one because of the new PRB02 support. That support is this Ace right here. A 5-cost 7k that says if you have a face-up life card, play 1 Sabo, Ace, or Luffy with a cost of 2 from your hand or trash. So what you do with this is we use our leader effect, we put one of the babies or one of the big characters on the bottom. So let's say we put Sabo in the bottom. This Sabo right here specifically is usually the best, right? Because this gives us an anti-KO effect. So none of your characters can be KO'd by effects until the start of your next turn. Then draw 2, trash 2. So we get to filter the hand while also making sure our entire board cannot be KO'd, and we get a blocker on the board. So we put this on the bottom of our life. The Ace will go to the top of our life. Now we play an Ace from our hand. We use that effect to play out the Ace, and this Ace can actually play out the Sabo baby from our hand or trash, meaning we have to use less Dawn to actually do this. And if we've already used the Sabo before, we can now reuse it thanks to Ace. So we don't have to find another Sabo baby. We can just focus on finding Aces to keep using Ace to spit out Ace. You can also play Ace to spit out Ace for next turn, and then use Ace again to then cheat out Sabo on the next turn, and you can think lines ahead if you have the additional Dawn to do so. And that's where this deck gets so complex. But Ace is the new MVP of the deck, allowing you to get a lot of resources, because with 8-cost Gecko Moria, you can cheat out the 2 babies for free basically. So now they put it on a 5 Dawn option, and it's a lot more fair while also still being very strong. the cards we're cheating out here are obviously the ace we just talked about. We'll go over the other ace, which if you have 2 or less life, this card gains rush to allow us to basically just get lethal on our opponent or just apply a lot of pressure. We have these Luffys here. This is the power-up Luffy. This card gains plus 2,000 until the start of your next turn. Then if you have 1 or more life cards, draw 1 and trash the top card of your life. And then you have this Luffy, which KOs a 4 cost or less if you have 2 or less life and draws you a card. Then you have Sabo, the 5 cost Sabo we already went over. And this 5 cost Sabo that says if you have 3 or less life card, this card gains blocker and 3 cost. And then it has the on play. You may add the top card of your life to your hand, draw 2, trash 1. So you effectively go plus 2 from this card. You add a life to your hand, so that's you gain 1 card. You played out the Sabo, that's minus 1 card. You draw 2 cards, right? And then you trash 1 card. So I guess you go effectively plus 1 from this Sabo actually, but that's still very strong. Drawing an additional card in a leader that needs to go down to the 0 life threshold to use this effect. As it said, if you have 0 life, you can use this effect. This is strong. You just get a large hand size. The detriment of this deck is obviously blue decks pudding. Let's go ahead and talk about that, because our goal is to take life very aggressively and to get to 0. And I'll show you how we do that through cards like Sabo, how it takes a life, and a few other options. But we need to watch out for this. Blue decks and pudding, blue decks and Gravity Blade, those are really, really good at stunning our deck and really putting us behind. This card makes you shuffle your entire hand back into your deck and then draw 5 cards. So if we were to use this Sabo and draw 3, and let's say we already had 5 cards in hand, we have 8 total cards in hand. So our opponent just plays pudding. We lose 3 cards from a 4-Dawn play from our opponent. This card is literally just what kills Black Yellow Luffy so many times, and one of the hardest decks to pilot around. So we're going to try to take on a blue deck if we can find one today to help you guys in those matchups, but it is very important to think about pudding. You got to think about it every time you play against blue. You can't just hope it's not there. You have to play around it. Now, to get to 0 life, you can either obviously take your opponent's attacks aggressively, or you can take your own life with cards like Flampe. Flampe, you add a life to your hand and then draw a card, effectively going plus 1. Yes, you're losing a life, but that is a resource to use later. Then you have cards like Hiyori. Take a life, set it up, you get to put a card from your hand into your life. So we can actually set up like this ace here and then play a baby ace and cheat it out early before we get to 0 life. Then we also have cards like Zeus. Zeus, you just add a life to your hand and KO a 5 cost character. So you go even in hand size. You do lose a 2k, but you're removing a card on your opponent's board, effectively a plus 1 in my eyes at least, and how I see it. Then we have Searcher. Searcher is very valuable to find our combo pieces because this is a combo-oriented deck. You have Garp to look at the top 5 for an Ace, Sabo, or Luffy. That's 5 costs or less. So the babies, the big boys, whatever you really need. And you have the 1 cost 3 Brothers Bond. We're running 3 of the 3 Brothers and 4 of the Garp. We'll remove the leader so you can actually see it. This looks at the top 5 for the exact same type of cards. The Aces and the Sabos. That's going to be very strong. And then we're playing a couple tech pieces. These are for specific matches or specific situations when we need it. We have Viola. This card is a blocker, and then on play choose one of the following. Look at all of your opponent's life, return them in any order, or turn all of your life face down. So with our leader effect forcing us to take those life and put them at the bottom of the deck, we can now flip them face down to actually get value out of either their triggers, like the KO 4 cost triggers here from the Luffy, to then be a 5k leader, but we have triggers, or just so that we don't bottom deck all of our cards. Black Spiral's in here really for the Zoro match, because that match can be difficult because they can just swing 12-12 and go crazy, and we can't really block out of it, so we just lose a lot of cards in hand, especially going down to 0 life. It says nullify the effects of up to one of your opponent's leaders or characters and give them minus 4k. So it's a 4k counter, and it negates an effect, which can be very strong if needed, but it's mainly there for the Zoro matchup, but also some counter. Extra counter is always good when you're a 9k leader. If your opponent swings 15 at your 9k leader, and we don't have a blocker like this Sabo or even the Viola, if we have to get out of it, this gets out of 4k. So after that, the leader is 11k. We only need a 2k, 1k after that. So technically we only need 3 cards in hand if we have Black Spiral to get out of a potentially lethal attack. Now, of course, that's in a bad situation where we're backs against the wall, but that is sometimes what happens. And so, hey, it gets us out of bad situations. I'm excited to play this deck. I've played this deck a few times now. So as I said, this deck is very complex. So there's a lot of things you need to think about of Sometimes you don't want to go to 0 life against decks like Silver's Rayleigh because they have unblockable events and they can do those 15k swings. Or you need to play around it where you don't lose, but you also are putting on enough pressure where you can actually win on the next turn or the next couple turns as you lose cards in hand. Sometimes you do want to be at 1 life and only a 7k leader. Sometimes you want to be a 9k leader. Sometimes you want to start as a 7k leader to then set up to become a 9k leader with 1 additional life after, because if we leave the end of our turn at 1 life and we're a 7k leader, as long as we get out of all the attacks, now I can go Luffy, play out the body from the top of my life. Then I can use my leader effect, gain 2 life. I can then use like Ace to then cheat out the Ace, to then cheat out something like a Sabo, the baby Sabo, to then use the baby Sabo next turn. Then I effectively get to sit at 1 life while also being a 9k leader. Or I can become an 11k leader if I really want to give all my resources in 1 turn, but usually you don't want to go that far. But yeah, that's Black Yellow Luffy in a nutshell. Obviously the games are going to teach you a lot more seeing it from experience rather than me talking about it. So let's stop yapping and get straight into some games. As always, like and subscribe, and let's play some games with Black Yellow Luffy. Blue Purple Reiju, this is going to be an interesting match here. They like to go first. I think we used to like to go in second. I don't think it really matters now. Let's go first. Let's see what happens there. Double Luffy, Sabo is not the best into Hiyori. Hiyori's not great in this deck, and we may even, at the end of the day, may take it out. We're going to look at top 5. We're going to be able to grab we're missing a lot of good things here. This is tough, actually. I think we're going to go with the Sabo, because that's at least going to allow us to take life and draw more cards. There are blue decks. We do have to worry about pudding, though, so we got to keep that in mind, because pudding's detrimental, man. Pudding is just that good. They played on the Juggernaut Kingdom stage, discard the TCG, to draw into a Reiju, and then pass. That's good for us. Very good start for us. They could play Niji, so we're not going to be able to actually set up for any of these characters here. Tatchel Active Dawn, swing 8. The reason we can't really set up these characters, there's a 5 cost that actually KOs 2 cost characters or less, so that would kind of just make these characters useless, and we need them. We have 3 Sabos. 3 Sabos may be a little much. I don't think there's ever been a game I've needed triple Sabo. What I need is triple Ace, and I need an Ace, but I don't have an Ace, so that kind of sucks. They should have trashed the Reiju from hand and then played it out, searching the top of the deck and then grabbing another card. They'd have 6 cards in hand then, so they did do that incorrectly. So that's interesting enough. 5 into us, 3. They could use their stuff next turn. We're gonna take this. Can't really do much about things we don't want to do much about. So what we're going to do here is actually lower a hand size by going off our leader ability early. We're going to look at the top 5 here. We're going to grab an Ace. That's going to be a good start. Then we're going to play Hiyori, use card action, take the top life, and we're going to add, Sabo into life? No, we can add the Ace into life. No, we don't have a way to play the Ace. It has to be Sabo. To then play Sabo, pop Sabo, play Sabo, plus 2,000 to leader. We could use this card action, taking a life to draw 2 and then trash 1, but we're not really set up to do that, and that would just give us more cards in hand, but we're going to do it anyways. Draw this many, trash 1 of the Sabos here. We have 8 cards now in hand, and then we get to swing 7 at our opponent. We're down to 1 life. We can block out of an attack. We can get through this pretty easily. The big issue is just pudding, really, but now we at least have Luffy and 2 Sabos. We have the Ace as well. We just don't have another Ace. We have Luffy in hand we can counter out with. Could have countered out that first attack with 1k and then had 2 life here and then 7 cards in hand so that the pudding gets less value. But then now they're only swinging 5-6, so we counter a 5, we counter a 6. Oh, I need to stop these hiccups. Oh no, they can't even swing 5-6. They'd have to go just straight 7. They're trying to decide if they want to block or if they want to just take. I think they should give up the blocker. They will not. They're going to counter, actually. That actually makes the most sense. I actually think that's the best play. We're 7k leader. There's not much they can do to us other than pudding here. That really bothers us. They could, of course, TCG. They're playing cassette. If you have Germa type, Germa 66 type, and you have 2 or more Dawn less than your opponent, this card gains blocker. They play Reiju to draw 2 cards, so they play Reiju as a 4 Dawn play. They tap 1 for the cassette, and now is where we have to start spinning. So we Flampe. We only have a Sabo and Luffy in hand. We can't Flampe and leader effect. We could Sabo and then leader effect gain 2 life, but that doesn't really get us much value. Especially knowing that they could have Rush in hand. And that gives more value to the pudding. So what we're going to have to do here is Flampe. take the top life, draw a card, 2 Dawn on leader. We're going to trash a card from hand, which is actually going to be, we have Luffy and Sabo in hand, so we're going to have to trash one of the Luffys. I think we're going to trash the KO Luffy, and then we're going to put a Sabo and a Luffy. Now I think what we're going to do here is actually only trigger once. We're only going to trigger up the Luffy here. Pop Luffy to play Luffy, plus 2,000 to the leader. We're going to swing 9 at the opponent. I think that's all we're going to do. They're going to block out of this no matter what. We could swing 8. We are a 7k leader. Is there ever a world where I commit 8, they block out of that as well? Because we don't really need the blockers. We're a 7k leader. They tap 4 to play the Ichiji. They'll have 3 additional Dawns. They can only swing 7, 10, or they can swing 10 with the Ichiji. No, they can only do 7, 8. We're fine with that. So we can actually swing 8 here with the Sabo and be safe because we are a 7k leader, and then start setting up properly now that we're getting the ball rolling. We need to get some of these cards in trash. We can trash the Ace with our leader effect. We could also just play out Ace on a 9 Dawn turn and 2 Dawn on leader and cheat out a baby from the trash. So we can cheat out the Luffy or cheat out a Sabo and then play out a Sabo, or cheat out a Luffy, play out a Sabo. So we can still do all of that on this next turn. So that's good for us. We're going to swing the 8. They probably just take this. I think you still hold your blocker for later. I'm just trying to think if I want to swing with the Luffy or pop it now. I think since the math doesn't work in their favor, because what they could do here is swing, they're at 7 Dawn. They could go 2, and then they have 5, so 2, 2, 3. And we can go take, counter, counter. So we'd be totally okay to lose this life, because then we can just put 2 Dawn on leader and set it all up again. Because we do have more babies we can put into the trash. And if we play the Ace, we can play out the Luffy and continue full combo. We won't have the Sabo, but if they KO the Sabo, we're also okay there. We swing the 8, and then we just pass. So I think that's the best setup going forward. Because again, there's just no way they beat us. We don't have a blocker, no, and if they swing 12, that's fine. This guy goes away. Oh no. They grab a Vinsmoke Ichiji, so they do have the rush option live. So now they can go 7-7, or they can go 7-9. Now they can go 7, they can go 10-10. They can just go 10, which I don't think is great. So what they can do now is Ichiji minus down the Sabo. Now they can swing 5 into the Sabo. We will just let that go, where they're going to swing 5 and 5 more into the Sabo. Now they could go 10 into face, which we don't care because we also have a Sabo in trash now. So it's actually better for us in a way. They're not really able to commit these small bodies, and I don't want to put them in the trash, so we're going to swing in and get rid of the Porsche, because Porsche cannot come back. 7 into us, we actually can just counter this with a Luffy here. Luffy's the best counter to use there. We don't have a ton of counter. We need to keep that in mind as we go forward. We also don't have any aces yet, which suck butt. They tap 3, and they replace the Porsche with a Black Maria. Well, at this point, I don't think we're worried about Black Maria, because they're going to continue to reuse it over and over again. So now we play out Ace. Well, first we swing 6. Right, 6 in a face. Then we're going to trash itself to trash one of the bodies on the board. Preferably the one that draws them from the top 5 rather than drawing them 2 cards. Because they don't have another version of this in the trash yet, but they have many versions of this. We could pop the Black Maria, but I don't think them ramping up. They're not going ton of Dawn of Minus, so I just don't know how much value they're going to get over and over again out of Black Maria. There's potential there, but I think are we worried about 5k attacks or utility on the board? I think I'm more worried about 5k attacks. No, because ramping them back every single turn is kind of crazy. So swing 6, they 2k. We're going to pop the Luffy and pop the Black Maria to draw a card. We're going to go 2 Dawn on leader. We're going to tap 5 for Ace. Well, we're going to play out a Sabo. We're going to pop the Sabo to play out the Sabo. Plus 2,000 to leader. We're then going to trash the Luffy. No, we already have a Luffy in trash. We're going to trash the Ace here. No, we're going to have to trash this Ace. And then we're going to go Sabo Luffy or Sabo Luffy. I think we go Sabo Luffy. And then we can pop a character as well off the board. So we're going to go Sabo, but we need to get a board going in general. I think we're going to go Sabo Luffy. And then we're going to tap 5 for Ace to cheat out the Luffy. Pop Luffy, play Luffy. Plus 2,000 to leader. Then we get rid of the blocker. I've only seen one of the Ichijis, but do we remove Ichiji ever? I don't think so, because we're a 9k leader. So we actually remove the blocker here and draw a card. And then swing huge into lead. We're going to get them down to 1 life here, because there's no way they counter. 2k, 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 1k. You don't want to give me your entire hand here. Now we just pass to our opponent. We have 6 cards in hand. We've played against the blue side of the blue Reiju, the blue-purple Reiju here, in case they did have a pudding. Pudding would only set us back 1 card. We still have an Ace to cheat out a baby and go full combo in the next turn. So that's why we held the Ace rather than holding the Rush Ace, because this can just cheat out any of the bodies from the trash. So if we need to KO more characters next turn, we have this Luffy online again. We have the Sabo if we block out this turn. We have everything we need. We have the Sabo in hand, so we tap 5 for Ace, right? That's going to cheat out the Luffy from trash to play out the Luffy. We have the Sabo in hand, so we can just play that out ourselves. So that's 5 Dawn, 2 Dawn, 2 Dawn on leader, and then we still have the 2 additional Dawn, where the 1 additional Dawn will gain for next turn for Garp to search the cards that we need in case there's different combo pieces we're not having yet. We wanted to play the Ace out of life, we can do that. We have plenty of options here. 9, we're not gonna give them the blocker this early because they can swing way bigger. So we're actually gonna give them the Garp. Since we already have full combo, our searching isn't as necessary. We can also remove the Luffy next and hold the Garp for later in case we need it, because we know we're gonna play Ace at the end of the day. At the end of the day, we know Ace is the most important card. Now what do? They play Gravity Blade here. No, they ditch Gravity Blade because they committed too many Dawn. They grab another Ichiji. That's going to be the Rush Ichiji 7 cost. Now they need to have the 4 cost in hand, but even that doesn't really do much for them because they'd only be swinging 12. We just block, and we're back. We are so back, and we get the Ace. Ooh, we got the Ace. We know we're going to Sabo here. Sabo here, pop Sabo to play Sabo, plus 2,000 to leader. Now we can play Ace for 5, 2 Dawn on leader. We still have the 1 Dawn for the Garp search. So that just means no matter what, we are just swinging 7. Since we're becoming a 9k leader with 1 life, we're still in a good spot as well. It really just depends on what we want to cheat out. If we have double blockers here, so we put 2 Dawn on leader, we're actually going to trash the Ace to put the 2 life in there so that we can then cheat out the Rush Ace, because then we get value out of the Rush, and I think that would be important because we don't really need any more blockers. We already have one. They 2k, 1k out. So now we lead effect first to start the combo of trashing the Ace to then put Luffy, because we don't need to trash a 5k. They only have this many attacks anyways because we're a 7 or 9k leader. So then we're gonna go power up Luffy because we're okay losing it, or no. 5 cost Luffy, Ace, right? Now we're gonna tap 5 for Ace to cheat out the 2 cost Ace, so that now we can cheat out the Ace plus 2,000 to our leader, and we can swing big. So now we can swing 7 more into face. Again, not worried about the 5k because at the end of the day they already have another 5k and we don't have removal on the board, so they're forced to counter with one of the 1k Ichijis. Now I think we just go board. We force them to commit Dawn. We could go 11 into face, but I think now they only have 10 Dawn to split between 2 characters. They can swing 9, 10, right? So now we're just completely safe. We can tap 1 for the Garp over Hiyori to look at the top 5. We able to grab another Rush Ace? No, we can just play over the Rush Ace. So I think we just grab a Baby, because that could cheat out the Luffy very easily. We don't have another Ace at the moment to cheat out, so we're gonna grab the Baby just in case they play some kind of blocker. Now we are in the best position. We have a 2k, 1k, 1k, a blocker on the board. They only have, again, 2 potential attacks maybe. They grab a Reiju that's gonna draw them 2 cards. They're gonna have to tap out more than likely for that. They could also play the 2 cost. They play Judge. That's 8 committed Dawn, right? So yes, they're going to go up in hand size here, but they're not going to go that much. They draw 1 card here, they draw 2 cards for the Reiju, and then now they only have 3 cards in hand. So we basically guarantee lethal. Yes, they're going to have Rush. Yes, they're going to have, a few attackers into the 7k. So we just let the 7k go. We don't have enough life to commit to it. So we let the 7k off the board, because then they just swing 5 more and 5 more. It's not worth it. Now they have to decide how they want to continue on. Now that we have the baby Luffy, if they just tap 2 Dawn, look, they play out Chopper, we set this up perfectly. Yep, they just disappear. They get off the game. We were going to pop the Luffy to play out the pop Luffy, pop the blocker, and then just swing 7, 7, or everything else. We were going to swing 7, 7, 13. Guaranteed game because they only had the 1 blocker that we were going to remove, only 1k and 1k. GG's to the Reiju opponent, dude. That was a good game, but we got him in the end, going against one of the harder matchups being blue. Alright, we get to go against Smoker here. This is going to be an interesting matchup for sure. This is a removal-based matchup, so we know this 5-cost Sabo is going to work wonders. I would love to keep this hand, but we just don't have anything to take life. So if they don't attack us, we could get set really far behind, I feel like, because that Sabo is really necessary, though. I think we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it and see what happens. Pass early. We're going to swing a big 8 on this next turn, hoping they don't have any early plays to filter through the deck. They don't, thank goodness. We're going to go and take the life, draw a card, and then we're going to swing a big 7 instead, so that should go ahead and get them down to 3 life, 7 cards in hand, or 8 cards in hand now. They don't have blue, so they don't have Pudding. Not having Pudding is very nice. We either gave them the Virgo or they drew one, but it looks the top 5 for a Punk Hazard type. They revealed a Smoker that's going to have Banish. So we need to set up to not have to worry about Banish as soon as possible, because Banish is going to be very annoying. They're going to play down another one and grab a 3-cost Ashigi, which helps with the removal, so that really stuns our 5-cost here. We could go Hiyori into some things and some stuff. They're going to swing 7 into us. I'm going to take. Negate the effects of up to one of your opponent's leaders. No, thank you. Can't really do that here. And now, oh my Lanta. Do I just swing huge, or do I play Sabo? I think I play Sabo here and just trash my 2 big boys and filter through the deck. Or I trash a big boy. Probably I trash the 5-cost ace and the Black Spiral. So I think that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to swing 5 in a face here. That'll get 1 card out of their hand. So they'll be down to 7, drawing into 8. They're playing the Kinemon. Then we're going to play Sabo, draw 2. We're going to trash 1 and trash 2, just like we said earlier. We have filtered into a near perfect hand. All we need is a Sabo. And we're that pass to our opponent. They can't KO any of our characters, thankfully, because of the Sabo here. And then we can start setting up how we need. They restand 2 Dawn because they played a 7k. They swing 7 into face here. Do we have a way to go to 0 life? Technically we do. 2 Dawn for Hiyori, 2 Dawn for leader, 2 Dawn for a baby, and then we gain 2 life. So I think we actually take this attack. We use the trigger and find an ace. Not the ace we were looking for. I guess we just grab another baby then. You're not going to find me an ace, you're going to find me a baby. Now we're going to use Hiyori. This is the spot where Hiyori is actually clutch. This is where the spot where Hiyori is actually very clutch. So we're going to Hiyori, 2 Dawn on leader, 2 Dawn for Hiyori, 2 Dawn for a baby, 1 Dawn for the searcher. So we're going to be able to look at the top 5. Maybe we do that first. We do find an ace. We still have not found a big ace. I'm assuming, guess what? This is going to be a big ace here. I want it to be known this is going to be a big ace in our life. So we're going to Hiyori. That's going to grab us that ace. Take the top life. Put out a 5 cost. We're going to put 2 Dawn on leader. We're going to go ahead and trash 1 card. We're going to trash the... I think we're going to trash the Luffy. We're going to trash the Luffy. No, wait. We got to play the baby first. That could have been a really big fumble. We're going to play this, trash it to play out Luffy to go plus 2,000 on our leader. We're then going to swing big into our opponent. We're going to go ahead and trash that Luffy now. And then we're going to go Luffy ace, because I'm okay losing the rush ace to then play out Luffy next turn, to then play out ace, this ace at the top of our life, to play out ace, to then play out the Luffy, to then play out... We have a full combo, basically. We could technically have swung this Sabo as well, but I actually don't want to commit it yet. I want to use it as a blocker this turn so that we can then start setting up the Sabo as well and cycle through how we need to. With having this many babies in hand, we're set up exactly as we want. So play it on Mihawk, that's going to restand 4 Dawn. Then they get to restand 2 more, and of course do all the smoker shenanigans that they need to. They're going to probably swing... I don't even know what you swing at this point. Us being a 7k leader with set up with 2 life, we're in a really good spot. Because we can ace and Luffy and go full combo without needing to go full combo. They're going to swing 7 into face here. I think they don't know that I'm okay losing the ace. I really am okay losing the ace. We only have the Luffy baby in trash. We don't have the ace baby. We can always trash the ace baby from our hand. 6 Dawn. They're going to play a 5-cost smoker. So then we would need to go full combo plus 1 because we need to get the Sabo out to block the unblockable smoker. We're going to block this. I think we're okay blocking this, because they want to swing 11 to remove it. They go double Trafalgar Law. They aren't worried about the smoker here. So, of course, 2 Dawn on leader. So that's going to be 2 Dawn for a baby, 2 Dawn for a baby. That gives us 3 additional Dawn here. So 2 Dawn, no, 1 Dawn. We can only commit 1 Dawn, because if we play 5 for the ace, we can trash one of the babies to cheat out the ace. So we're going to go 7 into our opponent. I don't think we pop the Luffy because there's not much to do and we don't really need to draw anything. So that's going to be 5, right? For ace. No, because then we can't play another... So we could have gone 8, actually. I was trying to... We should have swung just 6. We should have swung just 6 here. We decide to block out. Because now we could leader effect, discard the ace, but that doesn't get us where we need to. So now we're going to tap 2 for the ace, trash ace to play out ace, plus 2,000 in the leader. And this has rush. And then 2 Dawn for Luffy. We're going to trash Luffy to play out Luffy, plus 2,000 a leader. We are actually going to pop this, pop a Vergo to draw a card to see if we can filter into something. We do not filter into something. We're going to go ahead and trash. We just swing 9, 11 and just gain 2 life again. I think so, actually, because they don't have much removal on board. They can play Silver's Rayleigh, but I think we're okay with that, especially because we're going to get value out of the attack. So we'll actually trash Sabo in hand, and we're going to go Sabo, right? Because now we're going to actually just swing big. We're going to go 9 into face and then 11 into face. I'm just going to put the pressure on now. Rather do it now rather than later. We're going to be at 2 life as a 9k leader. Swinging 11 into our opponent. They're going to be down to 0. 8 cost kid would cook. Let me say that here. 8 cost kid would cook for our opponent. Of course, they always have the Gum Gum Mole Gun. They always do. Tizzy, there you go, buddy. he's trying to just look out the window. So they're going to remove ace, that's for sure. Not much I can do about that. We're going to lose 1 life. My goal is to only lose 1 life here, in this situation especially. So they can swing 7, remove it. We're going to let that go. Don't need the rush ace, and we can always cheat it out if we need to. Then we can go blocker, blocker on this next turn. I think that's going to be the most important thing. Going blocker, blocker, 2 life. We should be set up again. While also still just swinging very large. I don't really want to take this, so we can give up a single Luffy. I'd just rather not take it if I don't need to. If I have to take an attack, I will though, especially on this next one. I'd rather go blocker, blocker, but I don't have to again. Because what we can do instead is tap 5 for ace. Sure. We can tap 5 for ace, play out Bonnie, there's a draw 2 trash one, then restand a Dawn. 5 ace, 2 Dawn and leader, 2 Dawn, 1 Dawn. That doesn't work. Well, that does work, because ace cheats out a baby. So I guess if they swing Mihawk, we can be okay. So they rest 1 Dawn to play out a Vertigo, replace the Vertigo to search the top 5 cards, grab a Punk Hazard type. We have a TCG and a Smoker still in hand. They grab another Smoker. Smoker's not doing nothing for you. I don't think that's the play, but it must be all they could search. 3 Dawn. They still haven't leader effected yet to restand 2 Dawn, so they could technically Smoker now, restand a Dawn after. They're gonna swing 11. We're gonna let that go. We're gonna let the Sabo go here. Because now we can switch up our combo. Just sucks that this Sabo's on the bottom now, because that was not how I wanted to go. So 2 Dawn on leader. Would I ever want a Luffy? I don't think so. I think I'd rather ace. Do I have any aces in the trash? I do. So I can tap 5 for the ace, cheat out. I could go for game, but I'm not going to. The ace, right? Now we're going to tap 2 for Sabo. We're going to pop Sabo, play Sabo, plus 2k to leader. Finally get another Sabo. We're going to trash an ace and a Sabo. I wish we would have known that we got another one. That would have been nice. We're going to trash the Luffy. It doesn't really matter which one. We're going to leader effect here. We're going to trash a Sabo. And then we're going to go... I think we're going to go Luffy ace here. They already have a blocker, so we're only going to get through the blocker this turn. So we can't put this ace on the top. But we can go into 11k leader by doing ace next turn. So we need to have an ace on the bottom, actually. No, because we'll have an ace. No, we won't have an ace. So we only have the ability to use an ace. So we need an ace on the bottom. Oh, no. Yes. We're going to go Sabo, ace. We're going to pop ace to play an ace, plus 2k. Then we're going to cheat out a Sabo. Then we're going to pop Sabo to play out Sabo, plus 2k to leader, draw 2, trash 2, swing really big into leader, 13k. They can counter or blocker. They blocker, pass. So now we have Kale immune to board, so we can control the board here. They only have 1 blocker, so this really puts them on the defensive. We are an 11k leader. 11k leader is wild. Now, don't get me wrong. They can go 4 Dawn on Law, 4 Dawn on Law. I guess they'd go 5 Dawn on Law, 5 Dawn on Law, and swing 12-12. They could swing 3 Dawn on Mihawk, 6 Dawn on Law. They can Hody Jones, restand 2 Dawn. Wooey, you can have that. We are still in 11k, so they'd have to go 13. We can 2k, 1k. Then we have to go for game. So then they just swing 7 more into Sabo. Remove Sabo. This is a crazy game. The play lines here are very difficult to follow. I always let that go as well, because if not, they just swing leader into it and we just lose more cards. Plus, we have to just not lose the game here, right? We'll give them a... They can't swing again, so we're going to give them the Hiyori. Trash ace to grab a... I think we have to just go for game here. We're going to grab a rush ace and an ace. We're going to tap 2 to play out the ace, to play out the ace, plus 2, to then play out the ace, to then pop the ace, to play out the ace, plus 2. This has rush, so 9, 9, 9, yep, a bunch of 9s, and then an 11. That's all we got. It's basically that or we lose. So 9's going to be 3 cards, 9's going to be 3 cards, 9's going to be 3 cards. We know they have 2 bricks in hand, 2 smoker bricks. So we should get through. With this all not being 9k attacks, we should get through, even with the 1 blocker. Unless it's a Radical Beam. Radical Beam would be really good for our opponent here. That would be 2 cards out of hand, and then another 9. They have to be able to counter all these 9. So it's Dead Man's Game, so that's 1 cost, and then a 2k counter. So that is a 1 cost and a 2k counter. If they can counter this, we lose. So they'd have to have 2k, 2k, 1k, 1k, 2k. No, they have 2 bricks. No, they had 2 bricks. Where'd the smokers go? Ain't no way. What? We saw them grab 2 5-cost smokers. When did 1 go away? Through what effect? The draw 2 trash 1 from Bonnie? Damn. I mean, that was the only math there that really made sense, though. So we just lose now, but that was still such a close freaking game. They just block out with the Mihawk dies. I don't know if there's a different line there that we don't die. Our opponent wins the game in the end. They did have the one brick we knew about. GG's, dude. That was such a close game. I'm definitely going to leave that in for you guys because we're going to show you guys the losses. That's what we do on the channel. That was a close one, man. I don't know where the lines went wrong. We definitely could have won that. Top decking the ace there was crazy. If we math them out separately, not playing the ace, I think it's this actually worse because we got a 5-cost 7k for only 2 Dawn committed, right? Because we used the ace to play the ace. So we were kind of perfect circumstance there. So I think we played that final turn perfectly. It had to be a turn setting up, potentially not swinging into board, but these are such big bodies. I don't know. Hey, GG's to Black Yellow, or GG's to Red Green Smoker. That was a good PRB02 match. We're gonna play one more match for you guys. And now we're gonna take on Green Purple Lim. This is gonna be an interesting match on both sides because they are very, very aggressive and they do have the restand. So I think sitting at that 1 life threshold is gonna be strong against Lim, especially. They ramped on and play out 5-cost characters. They also have their characters interplay rested. So we're gonna be swinging into the board a lot as much as possible. This opponent should always choose to go first. That's what Lim likes to do because on 3 Dawn you play out a 5-cost character that's rested. Yes, it's rested, but that's still pretty dang good. We're going to be able to swing 8 into it, which is the goal. But we're going to be doing some Lim testing later this week. That's actually going to be the next video after this is going to be Lim testing because Lim, I don't think she gets any support in the new set, but this deck is just showing out an OP13, so I'd like to give a little hoorah to Lim and see what we can do with that. So Friday, expect to see that. Obviously today's Wednesday. We do videos Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays of every single week just about, sometimes even more content for you guys. So I'm excited to bring this Lim video for you. Try to do 3 to 4 videos a week. Subscribe. Our opponent's going to choose the turn order eventually, and they choose to go first. We're going to mulligan this. I love double ace, but it's just, the hand doesn't fit. It doesn't fit what we're trying to do here. This does fit. They are not, in fact, they are not, and remember this is very important, they're not a blue deck. We're perfectly fine here. We played against the blue deck first. I think that was the most important game. We're on game 3 here against Lim. That red-green smoker deck, man, that was a close match for sure. They play Lim. We're actually going to hold the Zeus. We're going to Zeus later on the next turn. I could Zeus the Lim here, but I just don't think that's worth it. We're going to Flampe. I think we're going to double Flampe and pass. I think that's the best one. I think that's the best line here. Because we can go down to 0 life very quickly. We just have to counter out of this first attack from our opponent, sadly. They're going to be committing all 3 Dawn to their leader effect here, so they're just going to swing 5 at most, if they even choose to swing us. And in that, they'll make sure to stay alive. They get to, the Lim goes rested to then restand itself at the end of the turn, because it says end of your turn, restand one of your Odyssey type characters. They're going to play a character that gets an effect from having rested characters. If this character were to be removed from the board by one of your opponent's effects, it means instead rest one of your Odyssey character. If this character, this specific character, very important to note. So then we can just KO the other characters. So I was going to think about Zeusing that thing earlier. Granted, it doesn't have another character to rest at the moment, but later on, maybe it would have done something. Maybe it would have been important. So, hey, we'll take it. We'll take it. Good to know. Good to know. I'm loving this hand, though. We have almost everything we need. We can swing 6 into whatever character they decide to play down, then Zeus it. So we're going to really just control that hand size per usual against Lim. Our opponent's taking a moment to decide what to do. They do their leader effect here, cheat out an Edward Newgate, rest a character, and KO a character. They're going to swing 5 at us. We will counter out of this with the Sabo here. That would be an option to get us down to 0 life. We don't really have a better option to use at the moment. This is going to be a 6k character. They could restand the Newgate, which is also an option, but the Lim should restand itself. That's going to be the best option based on what they have on the board, because this character can always be rested to give that on rest ability. It says, on play, if you have 2 more rested characters, rest up to one of your opponent's 5 costs and KO one of your opponent's 3 costs or less that's rested. Pretty good, but you do have to have those rested characters. So what we're going to do here is swing 6 into the Newgate. The reason we're swinging 6 is just to get a card out of our opponent's hand. If we swing 5 in the face, they're going to take that, and we want to get cards out of our opponent's hand so we can continue to clear their board. We're then going to Zeus that Newgate because we knew they were going to counter out. We use the card action, take the top life, pop the Newgate. Then we're going to play the Garp to look at the top 5. We have Luffy, Sabo, Luffy, Ace, Sabo. We have a Luffy, we have a Sabo, we have double aces. I think we just grab a 5-cost ace. We have all the other pieces that I feel like we need at the moment. So just having 5-cost ace is going to be really important. It's not going to take our life. We're not going to go down to 0, but we could tap 5, take the life, but then we can't leader effect. Pass. Thinking too much. Thinking way too much here. If we go to 0 life, though, then we can start leader effecting and spinning on them and doing all the things we need to do. And then we cheat out the ace, and then cheat out the Luffy, and then cheat out the Sabo, and then do all those things. So 0, that's fine. They should probably swing 5, potentially 8 if they don't have a 3 Dawn play. They Newgate again, that's going to rest our Garp and then KO it. And they can either swing 8 or they can play a 3 cost out depending on what they have. They're going to swing 7 at us. We're going to take that, use the trigger. We're going to look at the top 5. all we can grab here is a ace, so we're gonna grab an ace because now we have a full combo like crazy. We can go 2 Dawn on leader. We're gonna trash a ace from our hand to go into Sabo and ace. We're gonna pop the ace. We're gonna play ace. We're then gonna pop ace to reveal ace to go plus 2,000 a leader. We're actually gonna play the ace again from trash to fill up our entire board because we're gonna use this ace next turn. And we're gonna play the Sabo from our hand, which we can use next turn with the ace from our hand and do a full combo. So now we're gonna go ahead and trash this to play out Sabo, plus 2,000 a leader. And then we're gonna swing really heavy into the Newgate, 11K to Newgate, probably can't get out of that. We're controlling the board very well. We have a blocker now. We're a 9K leader, 7K on the board, 6K on the board. We should be in a really good spot. They don't have any board of their own. They could 9-cost Zoro here. We need to remove that. That would be a problem, in fact. In fact, that would be a problem. A pretty bad one at that. They're gonna Dead Man's Game. Interesting enough. So Dead Man's Game, rest 4 Dawn, rest 2 characters. They can now swing 10 into 9. They could swing 10 into 6. They could go 10 into 7. 10 into 9 here. 1K, 1K. Sucks that we have to do that, but it really just doesn't change our board state at that point. Because now we just leader effect. We're going to trash the ace to then go, I think, just Luffy ace. We're going to sit at 1 life this turn because they are trying to control the board very well. So we're going to go Luffy and then ace because now we already have the ace set up to pop the ace, to play the ace, give plus 2,000 a leader. Then we're going to cheat out a Sabo. This is where things get complicated. We're going to be able to swing 7 at our opponent. We're not going to swing the Sabo here. We're going to keep the blocker alive. We're going to be able to tap 5. We're going to swing 8 into our opponent. And then we're going to be able to swing for 9 into our opponent. This leader can never play rush. So if we sit at 1 life and they have no board, it's impossible for them to win. I want to reiterate that. If our opponent has only 1 attacker here and we're a 7K leader, it is impossible for them to win. Because we have 1 life, we have a blocker. So at most they can rest our blocker and then swing in. We lose the Luffy, but of course that's not a problem, especially with the board that we built. 7K, 7K, 7K. We can then cheat out a blocker, which is the Sabo here, or the Sabo from our trash if we end up using this Sabo as a blocker. They rest 3 for the Lim to play out, to grab a Mihawk. They're going to rest 3 for the Doflamingo using leader effect. And then they could swing 9 into face, in which that I'm just going to block out of because we need to lose our board anyways. Because next turn, I'm going to have to play out a Luffy and cheat out this Luffy, right? 8, again, just going to block out. I don't have to keep that body on the board, especially with the amount of pressure we already have. So now this Lim, or this Doflamingo will restand itself. This Lim will restand itself. They're in a really good spot, but not as good as we are. We're going to go Luffy, right? Luffy, pop Luffy to play Luffy, plus 2,000 the leader. We're going to gain 2,000 on the leader. We are going to trash the ace. We actually may trash the baby ace. No, the baby Luffy. We already have a Sabo in trash now, so we don't have to. We can just trash the Sabo, actually. Trash the Sabo. We should have trashed the ace. No, because then we lose our whole board. So we're going to go Sabo and Sabo into life. We're only going to be a 7K here. We're going to trash ourselves to play out the Sabo, plus 2,000 more. No, we're a 9K leader with 1 life. And now we just swing all out. 9 at your leader. 9, 9, 11. Not much our opponent can do in that situation. They'd have to split and go for game. That's what they have to do, actually. So 9, 9, pure pressure. We're probably going to remove the blocker as well. We're going to Dead Man's Game and then 2K. That's good for us as well. We're going to go 9 more. The reason we're doing 9, that's 2K, 2K, 1K. That's going to be 3 cards out of hand, guaranteed, or they lose. They've already seen 2 2Ks and 2 Dead Man's Games. They block, and then we're swinging 11. They don't have a blocker. That's going to be GG's to our opponent. We did know they had the 1 Draco Mihawk. We didn't know any of the other cards at their hand at the moment, but we did know about the 1 So that once they block out of the 9K, you just go for game. There's nothing else to do anyway, so you might as well just swing in. We were sitting on a blocker. They would be at 10 Dawn. They could swing 10, 10 at our 9K leader. But we have 2 1Ks, so we just take the first one, let it go, and then we just 1K, 1K out of it, or we block. We can block and then 1K, 1K. There's absolutely 0 way we lose to our opponent in that situation. GG's to the Lim. We're on to the next one. We are going to be playing some Lim very soon, though, so I hope you guys are excited for that kind of gameplay. I hope you guys enjoyed Black Yellow Luffy. I hope you learned a lot about the deck list and the deck profile. It's hard to explain all the lines and everything as we're going through them, but I think I did the best job that I could. You guys know I always explain things a little too much. I like yapping. You guys talk about how I yap a lot, and some of you guys like that I yap a lot, so I hope it helped you out. I hope you could learn some Black Yellow Luffy. We have some good matchups. We have some bad matchups. We have a lot of skill-intensive lines that not even I can perfect, so if I had any misplays, let me know down in the comments below. Just be very nice when you do it, because there's no reason to be disrespectful. Misplays happen. That's part of the card game, so if you think you're the best player ever, and I prove you wrong, hey, don't get salty. If you're going to be rude, I'm going to be rude back. Love you. I'm just joking. Love you. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.